Okay, so YouTube is making quite a few changes to the platform, and I'm a bit concerned, to say the least. So recently, YouTube came out and said that they were going to be changing the YouTube Partner Program requirements. They were basically doubling the amount of watch hours that you have to have or shorts views in the last 90 days to become monetized and join the YouTube Partner Program. And I found it very interesting that they're doing it now because, what changed? Currently, as of making this video, you currently need 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours within the last 365 days or 1 year, which is only for long form content. Or you can choose 10 million shorts views within the last 90 days, which is constantly rolling, so you have to keep it up. But in 2027, you will need 1,000 subscribers, 8,000 watch hours on long form content, or 20 million shorts views, which is quite literally double the watch hour requirements. It is important to note that YouTube also said that existing monetized creators aren't losing monetization. So that means if you're not monetized currently, you have until about February of next year to become monetized and miss that window. So that gives us small creators roughly 6 months to lock in and join the YouTube Partner Program. Now, 4,000 already sounds like a lot of watch hours to accumulate over a year. It's very difficult actually. And 8,000 just sounds clinically insane. And 20 million shorts views is ridiculous for any small creators. Okay, let's try to understand why YouTube is actually doing all of this. Apparently, they said that there are over 3 million channels currently in the YouTube Partner Program, and this number has risen dramatically over the last few years with the increasing amount of AI slop with shorts and a lot of long-form content just being blatantly AI. Now, AI has allowed people to manipulate the algorithm and do a lot of bad stuff, which has definitely impacted the YouTube homepage, and I'm sure a lot of you have already seen most of this AI slop. And if you haven't seen it directly, you've probably noticed it in scripts and whatnot. And I'm not going to act like I haven't used AI in the past. It's completely regular and normal these days to use AI. But it's something that I don't really want in YouTube, because YouTube is primarily for humans by humans, not AI for humans. Another important thing is that there are 200 billion shorts views daily across YouTube. And that means that every single day, 200 billion shorts views are accumulated across the platform. That's a massive amount of content, and most of it's going to be spam or low effort or just AI content. So there's no problem with YouTube wanting to actually get active creators or bigger channels with higher quality content being pushed out rather than these AI slop channels. Look, honestly, I get it, but YouTube shouldn't just immediately raise these watch hour requirements. It's becoming impossible for smaller creators to break out and actually do what they love by getting monetized by YouTube. And I get that they don't want people uploading garbage just for ad revenue. That's what people are doing, and it's horrible. But then I start thinking about who this actually affects, and it's us small creators and the people who create videos for hobbies, which leads me into my next point. Who actually gets affected by this update? And it isn't MrBeast, and it's not huge creators, because they're already monetized and they're already in the YouTube Partner Program. This time it's actually the new creators and the students, or the hobby channels, or the small independent creators that are getting taxed by this, because the fact that they're not already in the YouTube Partner Program just means that they will have to work their butt off in the next 6 months to try to get there, because if they don't reach it in the next 6 months, and that goes for my channel and a few of others that I know too, we won't probably ever get monetized, and most of our channels will die out and will stop uploading. The changes coming to the YouTube Partner Program will probably cause inverse reactions too with AI, and what I mean by that is that most smaller creators will probably want to join on the bandwagon of AI so that they can start spamming out videos faster than they could when they weren't using AI. And I feel like that's also a big problem that YouTube should probably address. I don't know how they're going to actually do that, but what I'm trying to get at is that by doing this, YouTube is subsequently causing more harm than they probably would have been getting than otherwise. And yes, maybe these new requirements will filter out a lot of the AI slop that's being uploaded, but it'll also impact a lot of people, and I am going to be one of those people unless I suddenly amass 1,000 subscribers and 8,000 hours of watch time, or 4,000 currently. So I feel like it's a very difficult situation for most people. Okay, so let's actually say that, nothing happened happens over the next 6 months and I don't get monetized, or a smaller similar creator also doesn't get monetized. 8,000 hours is a lot. It's a humongous number. 8,000 hours is roughly 480,000 minutes. And a 5-minute average watch time on one video, which gets roughly 96,000 views, would be enough to reach that 8,000 hours. However, that's 96,000 views on a single long form video. Keep in mind, every single viewer who clicks on that has to watch for 5 minutes. I don't know if you've ever made YouTube videos before, but that is a long time. I think the average duration watched on TikTok is something like 1 second, for perspective. My average view duration across most of my videos is sitting at about 1 minute 30 seconds. Not too bad, but it could be improved. That's a lot for a small channel. 8,000 hours is a lot, but it also is not impossible. It's just twice as much work for the same reward as somebody aiming for 4,000 hours would be normally getting. And another good question that we should ask ourselves is, does doubling watch time actually mean we're getting twice as good creators in the program? Because personally, I don't think so. Just by doubling watch hours, it doesn't mean that their quality is necessarily improving. They could just be outsourcing all of their work to AI, and that would just subsequently mean that YouTube failed with these new requirements, because AI is actually being utilized more than they were before. People will start using AI to crank out shorts or short form content to promote their long form content, which they might put a lot of work into, which leads me to the shorts problem. Currently, you need 10 million views on shorts in the last 90 days, which is a rolling day period, which means that it's constantly changing by the means that, say you upload a short 80 days ago, within 10 days, you'll need another short that hits 10 million views. That wasn't a great example, but it works. The new requirements mean that you'll need 20 million views on shorts within a 90-day rolling period, which does mean that YouTube is pretty much pushing shorts constantly, because if you think about it, 20 million views on shorts is a lot, clearly, for small creators, but it's also not a lot for big creators. I mean, think about Mr. Beast. He gets about 20 million views on shorts within hours, I want to say. Shorts are an enormous part of the platform. There's no denying that, and one video can randomly explode, but 20 million means that you need consistency, and small creators can't control that. I can't emphasize that enough. Small creators have no control over the algorithm whatsoever. And yes, while you can maximize your chances of the algorithm picking up your content by making certain steps more accessible to people, like getting better thumbnails, getting better titles, improving editing for even retention, but there's no real way as a small channel to master the algorithm. YouTube currently doesn't know what content you're pushing out. It doesn't know what type of videos you make. You have to wait for the algorithm to detect what videos you're making by giving it time, by giving it 6 months or even a year. And that way it can start pushing you out to the people who will actually watch your content rather than just testing it with a wide population on YouTube, which is what's currently happening to a lot of small creators. Okay, so if YouTube wants creators making shorts, why are they making the bar so incredibly high? And I feel like the only reason that they would possibly be doing that is to discourage the creators who can't be bothered with putting all of their time into YouTube. YouTube is basically saying they want the highest possible quality creators in the program. They're basically saying, if you're not making YouTube your full-time job, then you don't deserve to be in the creator pool. And I think that's a bit crazy for YouTube, because YouTube grew up as a platform where people were meant to post their hobbies, post stuff that they wanted to make. And YouTube is pushing away those creators and just opening the door for bigger creators who already have these audiences and can just churn out content, this soulless content, constantly, because they have no stopping point. They don't have any limiting factors. The algorithm knows their content and they can just push it out. And this is where YouTube starts becoming more opinionated. YouTube is constantly growing. These bigger creators are drawing more people in, as well as shorts and smaller creators. But YouTube is constantly getting more viewers and more creators, more shorts, and more advertising revenue for YouTube, which means more money across the entire platform. But they are literally making monetization harder for smaller creators to access now. The existing creators are getting protected while the smaller creators are getting hit by this change. And if YouTube is making more money than ever, why is accessing that money becoming so harder? And I feel like YouTube is really just making this change, returning to that point that they want the highest possible quality creators in their program. They don't want half effort, oh, I'll just post this if I want to. They want the creators who are willing to spend 12 hours in a dark room churning out content. They want more of Mr. Beast. They want more of really top quality creators. And I think that's just, it's just so irritating to me, because YouTube seems like a platform that just needs all of these niche small creators to sort of band together and just sort of, just take over the homepage, because they have so many interesting stories and videos to make for people. I mean, I see it all the time in my community. I see people making these amazing, astonishing videos, and they're just not getting pushed out to the wider population because YouTube's algorithm hasn't yet discovered their niche or their content. It hasn't figured out what they're making. And by YouTube changing the policies and by YouTube changing the requirements to get monetized, they're just pushing this further away. It really only gives smaller creators roughly 6 months before these changes come into effect, which means that smaller creators have about 6 months before they have to just give it a rest, unless they get into the program, of course. While I was researching for this video, I did see something that I found quite interesting. YouTube doesn't owe anyone monetization, and I found that really interesting because I always thought YouTube was just legally obligated to deliver creators money. Actually, no. YouTube started off as a platform that didn't pay creators at all. There was no growth. There was no chance of doing this for a living. But YouTube expanded over time because they obviously grew a lot in value, and they started letting people get paid for what they do. And running YouTube costs a lot of money. It's a big corporation, and advertisers don't want garbage all over the homepage, which, I mean, I don't either. Higher standards could reduce spam, and AI slop is a legitimate problem on YouTube. So some barrier sort of makes sense to this money that they're giving out. But 4,000 watch hours was already difficult. People have already just debated this online for years at this point. I can't remember exactly what the requirements were originally, but I'm sure that they were a lot smaller than 4,000 watch hours. And doubling doesn't necessarily mean that we're getting better creators in the program. It just means that they're churning out more content, and that doesn't determine the quality. There is a definite difference between quality control and just moving the requirement baseline. I mean, take me for example. Okay, I put about an hour, I try to get at least an hour a day of this YouTube stuff into my routine. I try to get at least 1 hour where I edit or do something for YouTube. And I am also currently trying to get monetized. I've been doing this for almost 2 months now, and I've reached roughly 170 subscribers, which I am astounded at. I never thought I would reach this level ever. But if I compare myself to the baseline requirements that are currently in place for joining the YouTube Partner Program, and I look at what they're suggesting for next year, I feel a shudder. I feel a pain in my chest when I look at that, because 4,000 hours is already a lot. And I'm making videos because I enjoy it. I'm not looking at how far I have to go. I'm making this because I love making videos, and I'm learning filming, and I'm learning editing, and I'm learning thumbnails, and I love it. But I'm not a massive company, and 4,000 hours already seemed like a huge goal to be working towards. Now, it being 8,000, well, at least at the start of February next year, I don't think I have a chance at making YouTube any sort of career. And yes, I'm only 16, and yes, I have a million other opportunities, but YouTube is my passion, and I love making videos. If I could do YouTube for a full-time job, I would do it in a heartbeat. And so I feel like if you're a small creator, within the next 6 months, you're gonna have to start asking yourself this question: why did I actually start YouTube? And if you're answering it like, I started YouTube because I wanted money, you should probably give this thing a reconsider. At least, you should reconsider the pathway to YouTube monetization. Because unless you're giving this your all, within the next 6 months, or after this 6 months have passed, this is going to be borderline impossible for a lot of small creators. You will have to be doing this off of your own free will, off of your own motivation, because if you don't love making videos, you're gonna suffer for years trying to reach the requirements that YouTube requires for becoming monetization. You're going to suffer for a long time trying to reach the monetization requirements if you don't genuinely have a passion for this. If you said instead that you like making things or filming or editing or having an idea and putting it online, then you have a chance. But you have to be dedicated, and you have to know that there is a chance that you will do this and you won't make a single cent. This brings me to my conclusion, and I don't think that YouTube making this change is a bad thing necessarily. I think it does have the ability and opportunity to remove a lot of the AI slop that's been overruling this platform for so long, and I think that would be truly amazing. But I also do think that it's going to backfire for a lot of small creators. creators, and it's going to impact a lot of them in a very negative way. And I feel like I'll see a lot of smaller creators that are talented and cool and just awesome at YouTube. They will start disappearing gradually. They will stop uploading because the chances of making money are just slipping away by the day. So I understand why YouTube did it, and I don't think that monetization should be easy, but doubling it feels excessive to me. I'll say that out loud. My biggest issue is that it's discouraging people from starting, and YouTube's greatest thing is that anyone is meant to be able to start. It's meant to be a job that anybody can do, and I feel like YouTube taking this away is just them saying, oh, it's okay, we just want big creators who can make us money. My final thought is that the best thing about YouTube has never been that you can make money from it. It's that you can start with absolutely nothing and build a community and a fan base and a life that you've always wanted. So thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed it, or if you have any opinions that you'd like to leave below, please do. I read every comment. And please subscribe if you're new here and you like my content. It would really mean the world to me, especially over the next 6 months before YouTube, sort of falls apart. So thank you for watching this far, and I will see you on Saturday.